I'm Bernadette Drouhard. I'm a junior level process engineer at Black and Veatch, and I mostly work on biosolids and food waste. I am also the first vice chair of the WEF Students and Young Professionals Committee, which has been one of the most important parts of my career, really developing my peer network and finding friends in the water world, and more specifically, as we've started saying, some other biosolids babes, which is just too catchy. I'm never going to let that go. And then lastly, I volunteer in a lot of different capacities within the Water Environment Federation, both here at the local level in the state of Georgia and also internationally, helping out with the student design competition, lots of our different events at WEFTech, and just can't say enough about how much it has really kickstarted the first 3 years of my career, and most importantly, allowing me to navigate the space to find what am I truly the most passionate about within the world of water. And that's why I'm here today, because biosolids is number one for me. It's something that I could talk about all the time, and so I'm really honored to share with you how I happened upon the fascinating world of poo, specifically when and why did I choose to lift the lid and make poo a part of my repertoire. So when I was an undergrad student studying chemical engineering at Kansas State University, I had internships every summer, and I also did a co-op program with Cargill because I grew up in a very rural farming community. It seemed really natural for me to move into food processing, and Cargill is one of the largest ingredient processors in the world. That was actually the first time I was exposed to any form of wastewater treatment process, because they had one at the corn milling plant where I did my co-op. And it was a lot less gross than I thought. I remember being really shocked by that. It just looked like chocolate milk in these big vats, and it didn't really smell, and you could just see all the bubbles and everything, and the microbiology was really fascinating. In my junior year as a chemical engineering student, I was looking for a second job and stumbled into a research position in one of our environmental engineering labs, where I got to work on the operations and the chemical analysis for an anaerobic membrane bioreactor pilot plant that was through an ESTCP program through the Department of Defense at an Army base outside of Manhattan, Kansas, where I was going to school. And it completely changed my life. I was just really, really fascinated seeing something that we think of as being a waste, something that maybe brings up like feelings of repulsion for us, which is very natural and part of our evolution to keep us safe. But how do we make it safe? How do we turn that into a resource? And what's the big picture here? That's what I always come back to by working in sanitation, and especially with biosolids. Why I chose to get into this space, I was really looking for something that helped people, something that was built upon service rather than profitability. Biosolids and being a water professional, those things really bring me joy in my work, and that's why I jump out of bed every morning, ready to go, and I'm just so engaged in what I'm working on. If I had to pick one key floatable nugget of wisdom to share with Flushers about my work, what would this be? I think it would be that reuse of biosolids all the way back in time, before they even called it night soil, that's something that humans have been doing since the beginning of civilizations. And when I was entering my environmental engineering elective courses as a chemical engineering student, something that really showed me this was the book, The Ghost Map, that I absolutely love. It really gets to the beginning of the story with epidemiology and sanitary engineering. And so for me, it was just like this context of we are the first line of defense for public health. But also what we're doing is not unusual. It is very natural, and it's really just part of managing metropolitan life and properly managing our waste. If poop could talk, it would tell us to recognize how normal it is, to respect it, but also really to utilize it as a resource, because it's part of the solution in addressing climate change and enhancing our soils, feeding our cities, and it's really part of the solution for public health, in my opinion. So that is my story. Very happy to share it with you. Again, I'm Bernadette, and I poo too. Thanks so much.